Welcome to TT's Tutorials, a draggy DIY. Today I'm going to be showing you how I do my basic drag face. This is one of my most requested videos. I don't claim to be a makeup artist, and like many drag queens I have my own techniques, some of which can be a bit unorthodox. But I'm going to show you anyway because I've got nothing better to do. I start by gluing my eyebrows down. To glue my eyebrows down I use Prozade. That's because this is the glue I learned to do it with, and I've stuck with what I know. I put a generous amount of Prozade over my entire brow area, making sure it reaches in all of the creases and crevices. I then take a small mascara brush and comb my eyebrows upwards. This just helps them lay down flatter. I use the end of the brush to smooth the brows down onto my skin. Because Prozade is waterproof, I lick the end of my finger and push down harder on the brows to get them nice and flat. Because it's water resistant, it also means that my brows don't come away from my skin when I start sweating, so I know it will last an entire night on the dance floor. I use the Ordinary Silicone Primer and rub a generous amount all over my face, including over my glued down brows. I then take a trusty Krylon TV paint stick in TV White and I cover my entire brow area, up the forehead towards the temples, and also in the corners of the creases of my eyes and at the top of the nose. I pack it in with a beauty blender, making sure it's pressed down firmly sitting on the skin. I then set it with a translucent powder. This will be the foundation for my eye makeup. I always draw my eyebrows on with a NYX liquid eyeliner. I start at the lowest point of my brow and roughly draw them on, going from one to the other as I draw them, trying to get them as symmetrical as possible. It always gets worse before it gets better. Then use a NYX liquid lipstick to darken my brows towards the arches and the ends. These liquid lipsticks are great because they're very easy to blend. All you have to do is dab them with your finger. It doesn't matter if my brows aren't perfect because I'm going to go in and clean them up after. I use the ends of my brush as a ruler, matching up the lowest points and the highest points of my brow, trying to get them as symmetrical as possible. I use my trusty grease paint palette to go around the outside of my brows, cleaning them up to make them look more defined and sharp. I like to spend a lot of time on my eyebrows. I find it quite therapeutic drawing them on, so I take my time going between the white and then touching them up again with the pink. When I've cleaned the edges up and I'm happy with their shape, I go in with my beauty blender and blend out the grease paint into my foundation. After I finish my eyebrows, I then start my eyeshadow. I start with the darkest shade on the outside corner of my eye, working from the inside and blending outwards. I build up the colour slowly because I want it to be even and I want it to blend out nicely. When I'm putting eyeshadow on, I always dab downwards. I never pull the eyeshadow across my face. I'm always pushing the pigment into the foundation. This is what makes the colour look super bold. I then go in with a lighter shade on the outside and blend it out towards my eyebrow, always dabbing and moving upwards. Whenever I'm doing my makeup, I always do the other side at the same time. I never do one complete eye and then the other. This is because it helps me keep them as symmetrical as possible. I go in with another shade of eyeshadow and blend it through the middle of my eyelid, building up the colour towards the crease because that's where I want the darkest part of my eyeshadow to be. More is more with drag, so I'm not afraid to use 5 or 6 colours on my eyeshadow, and you shouldn't too. Makeup is an amazing way to express and experiment with your own creativity. I then go in with my favourite Kiko eyeshadow. I use this eyeshadow almost every time I get into drag because it's the perfect shade to blend out my eyebrows into my crease. So I build up the colour working from the inside of my brow outwards towards the centre of my forehead and down the inside of my crease and nose, trying to blend it through into the purple as much as possible. Whenever I feel the need, I build up my colours more, touching up the other shadows as I go along. This is the moment my favourite eyeshadow in the world went crumbling to its depth. But don't worry, I just picked it back up again. I then begin cutting my crease. I cut my crease much higher than my natural crease. That's because this is drag. I use a liquid lipstick to cut my crease and I blend it out into my foundation using my finger. Again, I go between the two sides, trying to keep them as symmetrical as possible. I go in with a second colour on the outside of my cut crease because I want to make it super jazzy. Again, I'm using a liquid lipstick. That's just because this is my preferred method and they're super easy to blend with your fingers. When my cut crease is still wet, I dab in between the two colours to blend them together. I then cover the underneath of my eye and cheekbone area with my TV white. And pack it in again with my beauty blender, using the TV white to also define the edge of my eyeliner. I then begin doing the shadow on the bottom of my eyes. I'm going to use a turquoise because I want to add an extra colour. Again, I'll start with the darkest tone on the outside corner of my eye and blend outwards and upwards, and also blending it down into the cheek. I then use my purple again in the centre of the underneath of my eye, blending it into the blue gradually. I'm going to use the remnants of my favourite eyeshadow, yes, I scraped it off the floor, and blend the purple out into my foundation. That's why I love this eyeshadow, because it's really easy to build up the colour. When I draw my eyeliner on, I draw it on pretty big, so I start by covering my entire eyelid in black liquid liner. Eyeliner can be a scary thing to start doing, but my best advice is to just jump right in and don't doubt yourself. I do a guesstimate and start at the highest point and pull down towards my eye, trying to keep the line as straight as possible. I build it up gradually, again going between both sides to try and keep it as symmetrical as possible. It's always best to start off smaller and work your way out. After I've done my basic eyeshadow and eyeliner, I then go in and do the rest of my base. I use another TV stick in a 2W and cover the bottom of my face and my forehead, using it with a beauty blender as much as possible. I then begin drawing on my cheek contour using a 9W TV paint stick. I draw a nice harsh line for my cheekbone and blend it out with my beauty blender. I then do a stripe of TV white underneath the cheekbone and blend that into the rest of the foundation. I only like to do a light base and then I build the colours up with powder, so I don't worry if it's not perfect. I do a complete covering of translucent powder over the entire face. And then I use my contour palette to build up the colours of the foundation, starting at the cheekbones and blending out into the rest of the face. I like a heavy nose contour, so I'm not afraid to go right in there with the brown powders. And I also blend the nose contour up into my brows and the crease of my eyeshadow. Blush is one of my favourite parts. I love a heavy blush. I use a super vibrant pink and start from the outside of the cheek and work my way in, blending it through with a translucent powder if necessary. I then begin on the eyeliner for the underneath of my eye. My favourite effect is using tiny dots and building up the dots as you work down, trying to keep space between my waterline and where I would like my fake new waterline to be. I do more dots towards the inside corner of my eye and disperse them outwards and upwards, using a white and pink eyeliner also to make them more dynamic. I then begin drawing on my new waterline. I do this using a white liquid lipstick, again trying to keep them as symmetrical as possible and blending them into my foundation using my finger. When I'm happy with that, I then add a touch of glitter to the lowest part of my brow and above my cut crease. I like to use different kinds of glitter all mixed together to make it look extra jazzy. When I've added the sparkle, I like a generous sweeping of 9W on my jawline to hide my double chin. I blend it in with my beauty blender and also into my neck, setting it with powder. I add a touch of highlight and also highlight the inside corner of my eye. That's just to make it really shine, and also above the brow arch to make them really pop. I add a generous helping of mascara and begin gluing my bottom lashes on. When I stick my top lashes on, I don't worry too much about getting them super close to my real lashes. Having them slightly set back will make my eyes look more open. And because my eyeliner is so big, you can't even tell. I always use a liquid lipstick when I'm doing my lips. I like the full coverage look and the bold colours. I always start with the darkest colour in the outside and add a lighter colour on the inside, blending them together with my finger. I always add a dab of highlight or gloss to the center of my lips to make them look extra juicy. And there you have it, my basic go-to drag face. I'm not much of a makeup guru, and everything I do I've taught myself, but this is a no judgment zone. Makeup is about expressing yourself and feeling creative and free, and that's what drag does for me. I hope you've enjoyed it, please keep posted, and if there's anything you would like to see, please do let me know.